What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to SwagMagician Media, where if I have music, what else do I really need? Today we're bringing you my second episode of my CD collection series. Just a reminder, in case you guys didn't see my last video, I'm definitely bringing this channel back full force, so keep an eye out on that sub box, because I'm going to be uploading weekly content, including a new series which I will be premiering on Friday, as well as this series which I hope to continue either weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the reception that this video gets. So without further ado, let's get right into the CD collection episode. In case you guys forgot how this works, I'm going to be talking about 5 CDs per video, and basically going over some of the context of the album, why I bought it, what the album means for me, as well as showing you guys some of the artwork if I find it interesting, as well as the album cover. So for today's first CD, I actually don't have one CD, but I actually have the entire Disturbed Discography. I thought it'd be good to bring Disturbed up right now, because they actually just came back from a 4-year hiatus, and they are actually my favorite band of all time. While they're not the best band of all time, they're probably one of the most important for me, just in regards to my musical journey. I don't think I'd be here today if it wasn't for Disturbed. I wouldn't love music as much as I did. I wouldn't be so interested in the culture, and I probably wouldn't be making these videos. So I do have their entire discography. I have The Sickness, but it's not here, because I don't really view that album as important, and I actually don't have the case for it. I lost it a long time ago. But I do have their sophomore LP, Believe, their follow-up, 10,000 Fists, then Indestructible, and finally their final studio album before hiatus, Asylum. I also have their B-Sides compilation CD, The Lost Children. This is just the B-Sides and random tracks that never went onto the studio albums. So why is Disturbed my favorite band? Well, let me just take you guys back a little bit. When I was a young kid, I didn't really listen to much music. I kind of just listened to a couple of hip-hop artists that my brother was into, because I really looked up to him at the time. And other than that, I didn't really care about music. I just listened to radio singles and pretty much just didn't really care. Until when I was about 7 or 8, I was playing a game called RuneScape. Don't look it up, it's embarrassing. I don't want anybody else knowing that I played it. But I had a friend on there, and he messaged me, hey, you should track out this song by Disturbed. It was The Night off the Indestructible CD. And the moment I heard that track, I was instantly hooked. I really loved the guitar solo in it at the time. I thought David Draymond was an amazing singer. He had both a mix of power in his voice and melody that I had never heard before in my musical journey. I found their songwriting to be really interesting. There's a lot of personality in the lyrics, whether it's his personal stories, such as on Inside the Fire, and from the Indestructible CD, where just David Draymond is talking about how a girl that he used to date actually ended up killing herself because they couldn't be together, to My Child off of Asylum, which is a story about how his fiance at the time had a miscarriage. David Draymond really likes to tell stories about his life, especially the darker ones in the lyrics, and at times I could see how some people could think it was melodramatic, but I do think it's not really like he's just bitching to bitch. These are like really heartfelt stories that he's often talking about. Also, there's a lot of political awareness in Disturbed's lyrics. Tracks like Another Way to Die raise the question about global warming and if humanity is killing the world. And then tracks like Deify off their 10,000 Fists CD, which actually starts with a snippet of a speech from George W. Bush, and then you read into the lyrics and you can see that they're kind of making a statement about society and the government. I'm not going to sit here and say that Disturbed is the most forward-pushing and groundbreaking hard rock group of all time. And I'm not going to say that they're the best band of all time, but for me, they're what really got me into the genre. They really got me listening to more music, and because of that, they hold a special place in my heart. I have that emotional connection to them. Also, with the friendship, again, I had a friend tell me about this, and he's one of my best friends that I have, and so I can connect it that way to it. It's just, that's the thing about music, you know what I mean? Like, if people, like, have a negative stigma towards a group like Disturbed, or whatever you may listen to as a viewer, you shouldn't at all let that like deter how much you like them, because music for every single artist is just preference. I can't sit here and say that I can objectively say that an artist is bad, because I can't. I can say that there's a different appeal that I don't have. Other than like one artist who I did, but that's really, I don't think an artist is bad. I don't think anybody is bad. They could be unrefined and they could not be well executed, in my opinion. But that's the thing, music is opinionated, and if you like it, then you're allowed to like it, and that's it, period. So yeah, in terms of artwork, I don't really find much to be had within the actual CDs themselves. I really love the Believe cover, however. As you can see here, at first glance, it might look a little demonic, I guess, but really it's a mix of the Star of David, the cross and the Islamic, I don't remember what the Islamic symbol is, but all of those are actually mixed into one, including one from a religious symbol from Zoroastrianism. And pretty much what it stands for is unity. A lot of what David Draymond was talking about in this album in particular is that a lot of conflict in the world is caused by people just wanting to be how people are different and they treat others poorly because they're different. And pretty much if we could unify and learn to accept each other no matter what, then there wouldn't really be world conflict. While that sentiment isn't entirely true, obviously, there is a lot of truth to the sentiment, and I think I could agree that if people did just like learn to accept each other's differences, there would obviously be a lot less conflict in the world. So yeah, Disturbed, their entire discography. Next up, another band that actually just recently came back from being on a break, Breaking Benjamin, Phobia. This album is probably my favorite from them. Breaking Benjamin is kind of another hard rock group and similar to Disturbed, but they're a little bit softer, I guess, especially with albums like Dear Agony. And I really like this album. I feel like Breaking Benjamin as a band has always been solid at putting together individual tracks that are very appeasing to listen to and can be catchy and melodic and structured nicely, but as a whole, on most of their projects, they had problems creating a string of songs that was entertaining. I feel like this album does a lot better job than the rest of them. All these tracks do feel extremely individual from the rest of the album. For the most part, most of the tracks on this album I do enjoy. I think they're written nice. I like a lot of the choruses that are put in here. There's some lyrical content, and there's also I think it's really just a sound. With a band like Breaking Benjamin, I'm not listening to them because I think they're the most innovative and introspective band in the world. I like the way that they make music, and I like how it sounds. And it can be catchy at times, and so thus it's easy to listen to. And like I said, tracks like Dance with the Devil, Evil Angel on this album are really good to listen to. You've probably heard Diary of Jane. That's one of their bigger songs, along with Blow Me Away, which is Blow Me Away is actually the reason they were on break, if you guys didn't know. What happened was basically all the members of the band except the singer collaborated to make a remix of the song Blow Me Away. The singer didn't like it, he didn't okay it, and then that caused a legal dispute. Most of the band ended up leaving except the singer, and he's since reformed. The dispute's over, and they're back to making music with new artists, but he really is the creator and owner of the band, the singer, and singers always had that kind of power in this realm of music. So in terms of when I got this album, I don't really remember if it was anything special. I think I heard this album a long time ago. I actually first heard Breaking Benjamin in Halo. Blow Me Away was in Halo, and I watched a playthrough of that on YouTube. I'm like, oh, this track's pretty good, and then I kind of got into their stuff more, and I just randomly saw this at the record store one day, and I liked the album, so I just picked it up. Good. So, Breaking Benjamin, Phobia. Next up, a very polarizing artist, but not for the reason that you guys may be thinking. Kanye West, Graduation. This is actually my favorite album from Kanye West. I don't think it's his best. I would have to agree from an objective standpoint that College Dropout's probably his best, especially given its time and where hip-hop was in the mainstream right there. I thought it was really innovative. It was really well executed. He did a great job on the production side of the album. But I like this album better personally because this is when I really first started hearing Kanye. I was like 4 when College Dropout came out, so I couldn't really connect to it on that level, whereas when this album came out, I was more like 6 to 8, and half of this album nearly was on radio, pretty much all of it, other than like I Wonder, and even Barry Bonds was on it. I didn't like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is the only track on this album that I don't like. I think through and through, he has a lot of hits on here, he has a lot of very solid songs, and it just kind of throws me back to when I first got into Kanye's music that I can connect to. I called him polarizing not because I think he's an egotistical asshole. He probably is an egotistical asshole, and I can agree with that sentiment, but I call him polarizing more based on his music, because I think, for me, College Dropout, Late Registration, this album, and then 808s and Heartbreak were all pretty solid, if not great albums. And then after that, for me, Kanye's music just really fell off. I didn't really care too much for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I did not like the Watch the Throne mixtape that he did with Jay-Z. I hated the Cruel Summer mixtape that he did for Good Music. And then Yeezus. And then also the new tracks that have come off from his upcoming album, Only One, 4 or 5 Seconds, and All Day. I haven't really liked. I liked All Day because I liked kind of the raw and more traditional lyricism that he's using. It's kind of just like he's just rapping, whereas Only One, it's a little bit more ballady and I don't think he does it well. I get that, Paul McCartney's a great artist, but I don't think the mixture really works too well. I think Kanye, I hope that the album is more rapping. I think when Kanye decided I'm not a rapper anymore, that's where it's kind of the downfall. And I know people are going to say, oh, but you just said you like 808s and Heartbreak. Yeah, I didn't like it as much as his first 3, though, by far. And I only liked it because I think he actually did the sounds on that well. It was a little bit more conceptual than the stuff he's put out since, at least in regards to the experimental side of the stuff he's put out since, like Yeezus. I think it was just better done than Yeezus, to be honest. So yeah, that's just a little tangent. I do hope Kanye kind of goes back to rapping on this new album, but I have no hopes because he just wants to be out there. Speaking of out there, this album is actually kind of backwards. If you guys see, most albums are supposed to open this way. He's a fucking asshole, and he makes it open the complete opposite direction. You take a look in here, you got a little bit more artwork. This is pretty cool. I actually do enjoy owning this release. It's a pretty solid copy. Not much in the booklet, but the CD's cool. The CD has the little teddy bear on him, so pretty good. I like this album as a known. Yeah. So once again, Kanye West, Graduation. Next up, we got a classic, boys. Nirvana, Nevermind. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I was one of those kids who was rejecting, like pop music and was saying, just going with the grunge and idolizing Nirvana growing up. That wasn't me. I grew up in the stage where Limp Bizkit was on the radio, okay? So this is not my music. However, I'm also not one of those kids who's going to throw on a Nirvana t-shirt and act like they're the greatest band of all time, but I can't name another member than Kurt Cobain, and I can't name another album except the one with the baby dick, okay? That's not me. I can respect Nirvana's music, and I think they did a really good job, but I'm not going to sit here and idolize them, because I feel like to idolize a classic like that, you had to grow up with it, and you had to be there when what it did to the genre was actually what it was doing to the genre, and had already happened, you know what I mean? So I think, in terms of this album, you can definitely respect the sounds. I do think Nirvana does a really great job. This is a great album, I'm not going to deny that, but I'm not just going to sit here and idolize the band. This album has a lot of good tracks, obviously. It Smells Like Teen Spirit is probably the biggest one. It's alright. It's a good song. But my favorites are some like Come As You Are is a really good song. Territorial Pissings, Lithium. They're just absolutely fantastic songs. I didn't buy this album. This is actually my sister. She was a little bit more of that kid in the early 90s, mid-90s that was like rejecting pop music. She wasn't as much into Nirvana more than she was like into like Smashing Pumpkins and shit. But yeah, she was one of those kids. She bought this album, but she didn't like it as much as I like it. And so she's like, here, have it. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. I put it in my record. Pretty good addition, too. It's not really in any... It's no scratches or anything. If you guys want to take a look at some of the artwork, I don't know if maybe you've seen this. It's not much to it. Just some text here. You see the band. So you guys can see Kurt Cobain. You know what I mean? Pretty good. I know people love seeing Kurt Cobain. He was an attractive man. Pretty cool dude. So yeah. Nirvana's Nevermind. Last but not least, one of my favorite albums of 2013. The Red Paintings. The Revolution Is Never Coming. I just randomly came across these guys searching up shit on YouTube, and they immediately caught me because of just how weird their sound is. It's kind of like they're classified as orchestral art rock, but there's a huge industrial sound to them. It's super mysterious and just kind of it's glitchy at times. It's kind of just weird and gloomy as well. And they do a really good job executing it. The vibe that they create on this album, it really catches your ear. And the way that it plays with the lyrics that they're putting in and pretty much the sentiment of the album really fits well. Songs like Dead Children followed up by Dead Adults, the way that those are both instrumentalized and also sung, and the way that it's written and structured, it's really unique, fresh, and it sticks with you. This is probably, it's not my favorite album of 2013, but it's the one that sticks with me the most just because it's super out there. And it's pushing itself. It's pushing the boundaries a little bit for me. This is also one of those albums that, like, it either clicks with you or it's meh. You know what I mean? Like, I've given this to friends, and they're like, this is fucking awesome, dude. What the fuck is this? And then there's kids who are like, meh. So, it is just kind of it's a hit or miss kind of thing, I suppose. I really liked it. I think it's weird. These guys are super fucking weird. I'll show you some of the artwork, but search up them live. They dress up all weird, and what they do is when they're performing live, they actually get a human body, they strip them almost naked, and then while they're performing, they have someone paint on the body, and it's super glitchy, and the light shows are going off and shit. I think these guys are definitely from across the pond. I'm not sure where, because I'm an immigrant American, but could be Wales, could be Norway, could be New Zealand, could be Australia. I don't fucking know. Take a look at some of the artwork here. I'm not going to show you guys all of it because this is actually a super thick packet. But here you see, this is the lead singer. You guys can get a good look at that, hopefully. He wears a... Oh, also, they have a Soviet Russian, whatever the fuck, hammer and sickle in their logo, which is also kind of strange. But you saw there he had kind of the raccoon hat. take a look a bit more, here's like a dead baby fetus. I mean, a dead alien baby fetus. It's what the, I don't know, that's pretty cool, I guess. Here you see the entire band. They actually do utilize live instrumentation, including violins, including violins and pianos. That is, along with your classic drums and guitars. And then this will be the last one I'll show you. This is actually from their music video for Wasps. I don't even know what the fuck is going on here, but I guess that's some pretty cool imagery anyway. So yeah, the red paintings. The revolution is never coming. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you made it this far and you liked what you saw, go ahead and leave a like down below. Also, if you have any feedback for what I could do to improve this series, or any ideas about what I could do for other series, or just for the channel as a whole, go ahead and please leave that down in the comments section. Any feedback is definitely appreciated, and I'll probably reply to you because I'm not going to get a lot. So, but definitely go ahead and just leave whatever's on your mind. As always, you guys, it was your boy SwagMagician, aka the Rising Gamer, aka the Hood John Oliver. Stay cool, keep fresh. If I have music, what else do I really need? Peace.